Welcome to FedScoop TV and our special series on advancing digital government in the cloud. I'm Wyatt Cash, and today we're with Renee Wynn. Renee is the CIO at NASA. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you joining us. So we would like to explore a little bit about how you envision the cloud computing and particularly platform as a service and infrastructure as a service of really helping improve your agency's operations.
Great. Well, this is a great opportunity for NASA as we send more missions into space that have greater capabilities to bring data back to this planet. We are looking at very hard using the cloud computing in order to do that, because a lot of the data that we bring back from our, as I call it, our flying assets, we share fairly quickly out to the public. And so what we want to do is put it in a place where we can use the data where it is. And if we're going to do that, it's going to need the right capabilities on the cloud computing, the visual analytics, the ability for the public to use the data in a secure way so that they don't contaminate our network and we don't contaminate their network. And so for us, the infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platforms as a service, all of that is key for our ability to serve this nation through the data that we bring back from our missions in a safe and secure way.
And you have a lot of data.
Oh, we do have a lot of data. I kind of chuckle sometimes at the term big data. I'm like, I think we're bigger than big data, and we have been for quite a while.
Yes. Well, migrating your IT operations to the cloud has been a technical task, but it's also a change management task. Can you talk a little bit about how you've helped or how your agencies work towards dealing with the change management issues?
Yeah. You've raised actually a really important issue, because I think most folks think about moving to the cloud as moving an office, because we can look at a server and we say, oh, it's a physical thing, I'll just clip its wires, heresy here, put it on a chair and I'll roll it down the aisle and it'll be fine. But on that box are really complex things that are very delicate, almost human sometimes in that. And so the first part of that change leadership is helping those outside of my area of business to understand that when you look at that box, you're not moving the box, you're moving that data. And that data is housed in a system, and some of those systems are really old. So the part of the change leadership is helping them understand the journey so they can participate in the risk-making decisions on whether that data and that system needs to even go on a journey. Some of our systems are so old that they aren't that compatible and they're not designed for in the cloud. But some of that is young enough that you could say, well, it's worth the cost of the migration and the changes that are necessary in order to move it over to the cloud. So the change leadership begins with first understanding that IT is complex. Secondly, that delivering even a desk unit for us or a mobile unit is not that hard, is really hard because of the cybersecurity effort to it, yes, as well as the ability to get on the internet and you get this contamination from the internet. So our folks need to understand, and the people we work with, that our jobs really are a little bit more complicated than they think it is. Just because you do it at home doesn't mean it's the same when I do it. The second thing is they have to understand their systems and how they were configured, and that's kind of hard sometimes when some of the systems have been configured in the 80s and the 70s. And then the second part is really sit with them at the table to really think about their journey and the capabilities they need, and then we can sit at the table and figure out which cloud provider and which capabilities of that cloud provider are the best match for that particular mission. And it's not a one-size-fits-all. And so we've put into place, I call her our cloud broker, Karen Petraska, and she's really working one mission at a time to figure out both strategically what NASA needs, but helping them see how the cloud can really help them. And we've got some great partnerships, and we're really turning the corner on some small successes in order for us to go big soon.
Well, great. Well, I think another dimension of this is how cloud is enabling better digital services, either to the public, because you have quite a public, yes, you serve, and you also have an internal audience, many scientists and so forth. How do you see cloud advancing your efforts there?
My hope with that is because we've bitten off some small pieces in order to proceed and have some success with the clouds. And it's been recently that the cloud capabilities have really gotten more complex and more aligned with NASA's needs in that. I think I go back to the previous story, and that is Karen is working sort of one mission at a time to really find those needs and bring that to the table for folks. And when she's got a coalition of the willing, that usually then helps the rest of that version of our scientific community, because we've got a lot of communities of practice of different scientific communities. And so if we work one community at a time and show them that how the cloud can work, and some of them have come to us and say, hey, I want to go to the cloud, how can you help me? Which is a great place to be. That's where we've been able to marry them up with the partnership. So it's one person at a time. IT begins with good people skills. And then from there you can actually bring the tools to help solve the problems. So one mission at a time, one person at a time, and we will start moving. And my hope is that we'll really be able to accelerate our movement to the cloud here in the next couple of years.
Well, lastly, thinking as a CIO and kind of on behalf of your peers in the federal community, what one or two things would you change if you could to facilitate faster or more effective cloud computing to advance digital government?
What two things would I change? One is I would, I guess, like some help capturing the imagination of the folks that work for me and that I serve to, one, make sure, help them understand I really do have the mission and their hearts in my mind when I'm doing things, so that I'm not seen all the time as evil and that change is always bad. But that's more of a personal effort in that. I think if I had the magic wand, I would say to the folks that the way we live our personal lives with the power of our fingertip, we need to imagine at the appropriate place that that's how we need to serve both ourselves as well as our public. And that is not a fix, it's not a one size fits all, but if we can imagine government services at the tip of our finger, then we can do more for them and with them. And at NASA, that's precisely what we're doing. We are big social media folks. When I announced, I shared with folks the exoplanets that we found in TRAPPIST-1. That was done through the public was engaged with us on a platform, looking at the data and information coming back from space to find what they thought were exoplanets. And so I just want us to do, NASA and the rest of the federal government, to do more like that. But I also do want to remind folks there are some things that can't be digitized and shouldn't be digitized. So let's just make the smart decisions and risk-based decisions and digitize that which we can. Thank you.
Well, Renee Wynn, thank you so much for sharing some of your insights and some of the exciting work that you're doing at NASA. And a lot of the nation actually looks to NASA to see some of the innovation that government is doing, and we wish you continued good luck with that.
Great, thank you very much, and I appreciate the time. And audience, thank you for your attention to this video.
Sure. I'm Wyatt Cash with FedScoop TV. Thanks for watching today.